This is the Voice of the Land podcast with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Nick Paulus.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in to another edition of the Voice of the Land here on the Big Play Network, and of course, partnered with LPV Productions. I am one of your hosts, Kevin Arnold, and alongside me, as always, my brother across the table, Nick Paulus, and our producer extraordinaire behind that proverbial glass. Whether I use that word right or not, I don't care at this point. We're going to keep it going. Our very own Peter Tellup. Of course, we are brought to you by Vector Technical, the right person, the right job, the first time, and DP Construction LLC. Reach out to them for all your concrete construction needs at 330-217-4999. That is 330-217-4999. Or, of course, hit up Tyler LaFrada, our buddy, and by email, tylerlafrada@gmail.com. And, of course, thank you to everyone who does tune in live, whether here on Twitter. Of course, you can always follow us at VTL_pod. Like our Facebook page, you can find us live there at Voice of the Land or on the Big Play Facebook page. And, of course, the Big Play YouTube channel at Big Play Live. And you'll see it as the names pop up throughout the night. But, of course, you can follow Nick Paulus at CLE_Paulus on Twitter, myself at Kevin7, because, you know, I always come through when it matters most in the clutch, and LPV Productions across all social media platforms. A big night of sports to get into tonight. Of course, a big week of sports. It just seemed like things were coming at us left and right all week long, especially as the week started to wind down. It seemed like that's when the sports news really kicked off. We will get into MLB trade deadline for the Indians, and of course, want to send our best out to manager Terry Francona, as he has had to step away from the team for the rest of this season due to health concerns. We will get into that a little bit later, as well as the Cavs draft. Evan Mobley at number 3. What are our thoughts on that draft pick, and what does that mean for the future of the Cavs? Can they compete for a playoff spot? And we'll finish with some Olympics talk and a fun question to end the night. What individualistic award would you rather win? One in a major sport or a gold medal representing your country? We will touch on all that, but the big news dropping yesterday, we got to start Browns. Training camp is going on right now in Berea. Of course, an off day today, but they will be getting back out there tomorrow. And then Tuesday, first day in pads, and some contract extensions for the Browns. The big one, I know everybody was talking about Paul DePodesta getting a 5-year extension. Of course, that's
what everyone's talking about. That's what everyone wants to know about.
That's the big contract extension. Of course, that was done basically for their theme of alignment within this new culture, this new front office. 5-year extension kind of aligns him with the contracts of Kevin Stefanski, the coach, and general manager Andrew Berry. So it kind of keeps everything in line for this Browns organization trying to build a consistent winner here in Cleveland. But in reality, the big contract extension, the one everybody is excited about, as you know, I'm telling you, everybody was excited about Paul DePodesta, even myself. It kind of has
that echo effect.
I know, right?
Everyone wants to know about it.
Echoing through the entire town right now. But of course, running back Nick Chubb, getting into contract extension, the first of the major 4 that have been talked about ad nauseum throughout this offseason as people anticipate and excitedly wait for this upcoming 2021 season. 3-year, $36.2 million deal, $20 million guaranteed. And I know, Paulus, that is your guy on this team. We all love Nick Chubb.
Of course, yeah.
But if you had to pick favorite player, I mean,
it's Nick Chubb.
You're right. You're the Nick Chubb guy on the team. And, and of course, everybody excited for a guy that he does what Kevin Stefanski preaches all the time. He works. He doesn't talk. He just works. And, you know, you didn't hear much from him, but it was cool to see everybody else tweeting him and stuff. I mean, as that news broke, a fair deal for him. And was it right for them to get him done first?
I think it was right for them to get him done first because Baker as well as Denzel Ward, those are the 2 that have signed their 5th-year deals. So I think that's set in stone. No matter what, they're coming back next year. He wasn't. You know, like this was his final deal here for us. This time next year, Baker and Denzel, no matter what, are on this team. Nick Chubb is not on this team next year without that extension. I think that Nick Chubb is one of the top 3 backs in the league. And in my opinion, he is the best overall offensive player the Browns have had since Jim Brown. And that's saying a lot. We've had a lot of really good offensive players come through here, but being on a consistent basis. And by the way, the numbers back it up. I think he's only, 200 less yards than what Jim Brown had through his first 3 years, total yards from scrimmage. That's pretty damn good. Like he is that old school running back that will just bowl you over, as well as he can beat you. If he's open, no one's catching him. And like his underrated speed is the best thing about him. I love Nick Chubb to death, and it would have broke my heart to see him get traded. But I would have not traded, but not retained. I would have understood, I would have understood that. There we go.
Hey, words are hard, but always fun,
Exactly. I would have understood it because I think that you can find running backs in the draft. And if you have a great offensive line, which we do, and we have that offensive line under contract for a couple more years as well, I think that you could have found another back to, possibly, get some first team reps, but it wouldn't have been Nick Chubb-esque reps. You know what I'm saying? Like Nick Chubb's a special dude, and his contract, we got him for $12.2 million a year is basically what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
20 million guaranteed. So God bless you, Nick. You already got your money. So good for you. But from here on out, he's averaging 12.2 million a year. That's sixth highest for running backs. Here's some of the running backs that are ahead of him. Let me know if you'd rather have Nick Chubb or them.
Okay.
Christian McCaffrey is making $16 million, $4 million more than what Nick Chubb is making a year. Would you rather have Christian McCaffrey or Nick Chubb?
Nick Chubb right now.
Nick Chubb. Christian McCaffrey is fantasy all the way. You'll never win a championship with Christian McCaffrey running in between the tackles. It just won't happen. And I think you need that here in today's game for sure. How about Zeke Elliott? I don't see the Cowboys ever winning anything.
No.
He's making 15 on the dot million. Alvin Kamara, 15 on the dot. Dalvin Cook. I'm naming these players, and what's the top 3 things about them? Injuries.
Yep.
Let's be honest. Zeke has had a great start to his career, but like the dude gets banged up, and we clearly saw without Dak last year, you'd think that he'd be the bell cow. He wasn't even the best running back on his team last year.
No, there was just Dallas couldn't find anything without Prescott.
Right. And that leads me to the one last guy that's ahead of him, Derrick Henry, who's making 12.5 million. So another, 300,000 more than what Chubb's making. That's fair. That is 100% fair. I think he, in the Madden rankings, which, oh my God, are they terrible? I don't even want to get into it.
Yeah.
The fact that Jack Conklin's a 79 and Jedrick Wills is an 80 blew my mind. I will never play that trash game again. Just won't. But I won't until you fix the ratings. I will not touch Madden until then. Once again, that all being said, it's Madden. But Nick Chubb is 6th. I think that Nick Chubb is, once again, one of the top 2 or 3 backs in the league. And we got him on a steal. The Browns got him on a steal, and I think he left money on the board for us to keep paying other guys around him.
And that's the type of guy that Nick Chubb is.
Right.
Like, this is kind of the deal that you would expect from a guy like Nick Chubb. Now, there's guys that get criticized for taking all of this money all the time. And, whatever money they earn is available in each league, and they go get it, they get criticized for that. But then there's also criticism for guys that take team-friendly deals, and it's not a deal that necessarily people would think would be best for the player based on their production and quality for themselves and for the team. They get criticized for that. Like, which one works then for people? You're never going to satisfy anybody, but Nick Chubb is doing he's getting money for himself, and he's earned that money.
No
he's
doubt.
earned the right to get another contract and be on this team. and he doesn't really want to go anywhere else. And he wants to be a part of this core. He wants to be a part of this winning culture that wants to win a championship. And we mentioned even last week, like, do you care that your players, the players on the Browns, are so open about Super Bowls right now? No, because every player, every team is thinking that at the start of the season, whether those aspirations are legit or not, that'll be figured out pretty quickly in the season. You'll see that. But every team has those aspirations. That's what they're building towards. So it's not fair to say that you can't talk about that. And it's not fair to say a guy, didn't get the right contract. He earned that money, but he's also, again, what he does on the field is right for the team. What he's doing off the field is right for the team. And he just wants to play football. Doesn't want to have to talk about it. Doesn't want to have to, have this big personality. That's not who he is. When Nick Chubb's going to talk, as soon as that ball is kicked off and the offense gets out there on the first drive of the game. If he doesn't do well that drive, his mindset is, I got to do better the next drive. It is just that kind of one drive at a time, one game at a time mindset. I'm going to do what I do best for the betterment of this team to win a championship.
Right.
That's what, and you love guys like that.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to have the personality guys. You're going to have Baker. You're going to have Odell. And that's fine too. Like, you don't want all of one or all of the other, but you want this good mixture of guys that just get along, have a good time, but know when it's time to get to work and accomplish the goals that are set out in front. And yeah, the goals are lofty, but if you're not thinking that, if you're not playing for that as a player and as a team, you might as well get out of the league.
One of my favorite things that we've seen, like primetime games or anything like that, is whenever they mic up players. Whenever they mic'd up Nick Chubb and he didn't say 2 words the entire game, and all you heard was touchdown. Here you go. Like hands the ball off to the ref.
Right.
That is the best thing that you could ever think of for like a superstar athlete. The guy that goes out, just does his damn job and does it to the best that anybody, could ever ask for. And once again, he's putting up Jim Brown-esque numbers to start off his career. And he got injured for 4 games. Like, he wasn't there for 4 games. And those 4 games were against some, honestly, some easier opponents that if you have them, we go a lot farther. We have a lot better of a record at that point in time. I just I look at Nick Chubb and I just go, thank God he's on our team.
Yeah.
And even if we didn't have him, Kareem Hunt is a great running back, but he's not Nick Chubb. He just isn't, I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, well, he could do the same stuff. He could even do better stuff. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. Nick Chubb can catch. We just don't throw him the ball because we have so many other options. I've seen the guy, he caught the screen pass and went 40 yards for to seal up the game against Pittsburgh. That's the type of playmaker he is. And you don't let that go. And thankfully that we have a smart enough organization who is now drafting great players. And even better than that, they're signing great players.
And signing players in a way that will still allow them to sign the others, or as many of the other good players that they draft, so that your core is not dwindled down, as you've seen in professional sports, and especially in the NFL, when teams that have amassed enough talent and win the Super Bowl, at least get to the Super Bowl to try to win that game, and then they don't have enough money to re-sign. I mean, what Tampa Bay was able to do to re-sign everybody coming back off a Super Bowl
never happens.
That never happens. But they may have set a blueprint, and now the Browns are at least got guys that are willing to maybe take team-friendly deals, favoring a team over themselves, but allow them to stay with the guys they want to play with. And to your point about Jim Brown too, NFL Network's Aditi Kinkawala even had a tweet earlier today showing that Nick Chubb is second behind Jim Brown in scrimmage yards, and it's less than 100-yard difference.
Right.
And he missed those 4 games.
Yeah. Once again, Jim Brown numbers. You can't beat that, folks. He
in a
is
passing
the GOAT.
league.
In a passing league. He is amazing at what he does. It is just, It's Nick Chubb. It's Nick Chubb. And I love the fact, I know we're going to be cutting it here pretty close here, but I want to bring up the fact, and you made a great point. This leads me to believe that he left money on the board. Kareem Hunt left money on the board. If we all remember that, he signed that. He's only getting like $13 million, or for like 2 years. Like, that's pretty nuts. That's pretty crazy. That type of player. But it leads me to believe maybe, just maybe, we don't have to break the bank with Baker, Wyatt, or Denzel. Maybe they look at this and go, you know what? If Nick Chubb took a team-friendly deal, why shouldn't I take a team-friendly deal? And that leaves money on the board for the next person in line to get money. So maybe, just maybe, you sign all those guys. Maybe you can sign Odell back. Maybe you can have Jarvis. Maybe you can get X player here. Like Xavier Howard, I know is having a hellish time on earth in Miami.
He's busting out the door, trying to get out of there.
Banging on that door, trying to get out of Miami. And he wants $15 million a year. And he's a great corner. He had 10 interceptions last year. Maybe you can get that guy and bring him in and pay him his money, because Baker, instead of making $35 million a year, takes it at 27, 28, 30 million, right in that range, saves $5 million a year. Maybe you can bring in guys like that. That's the pipe dream. That is what we're all hoping for. I don't know if it's going to happen, but wouldn't that be nice if it did?
Oh, the pipe dream is the best way to say it. I mean, that's the perfect world.
Yeah.
But it's not unheard of now. Again, Tampa Bay kind of set the precedence. You may not be able to sign everybody, but more of the majority you may be able to keep rather than let go.
How much does that speak to the culture that they're putting in place?
It says everything.
It says everything. And it says that these players have bought in, that it's not just coach speak and player speak. What they say, you can believe they will execute out there on the field and in the offseason. What they're saying they have to get done, they will get done, or find a way to become better so they can get it done if they don't get it done right away.
Yeah, and this is before we've won a championship or even been to the championship. So you can tell that these guys are hungry, that they understand the game, that everyone's going to have to get paid some way or another. And whether that's on your team, on another team, like if you want to lose Nick Chubb, Baker, because you want to sign a $400 million deal, that's on you, Baker. That means that you got to ball out even harder. I think everyone's come to the agreement that like we need Nick Chubb to win a championship.
Yes.
And I think Baker even tweeted out, he was like, oh, hell yeah, Nick Chubb, like get it. That's just that team mentality. And it's great.
And, Peter brought it up. I mean, the culture, I think even all those tweets, like it just started coming through my feed over and over. Like, every single player, Mac Wilson, Myles Garrett, not just Baker, Jarvis said something. Everyone, because they all get along. And the common goals really are united. And these are the fun conversations to have, and the conversations we've been waiting to have now have good young talent that we want to keep here with our football team. A team that may have some young talent, but not enough talent to take it anywhere this season, their last season as the Indians. Of course, our baseball team here in town. Trade deadline just passed a couple days ago, and manager Terry Francona stepping down. We will touch on all of that here on the other side of this break. This is the Voice of Land on the Big Play Network.
Whether you're looking to hire new talent or start a new career, Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has helped thousands of job seekers advance in their career with reputable partners throughout Northeastern Ohio. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. With an above-average hire-in rate of 1 in 4 candidates, Vector works hard to connect the right person with the right opportunity the first time. Vector Technical hires for skilled manufacturing and light industrial work and is sure to have a career that you've been looking for. To learn more, visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com.
And welcome back to the Voice of the Land. Just before the break, we were talking about the Browns and Nick Chubb's contract extension. Of course, again, a lot of young talent that has a chance to be championship caliber for years to come if all of them are able to be kept on the roster moving forward. A team that is kind of getting rid of some players off their roster and seeing what they have in young talent in their minor leagues would be the Cleveland Indians, and the trade deadline just passed. But I want to start, before we touch on the trade deadline and thoughts on the Indians and their approach to it. Again, I want to send our best, courtesy of the Voice of the Land, our best out to manager Terry Francona. Health concerns keeping him out. He's going to get hip surgery and try to take care of some of his ailments. Did not commit or decommit from coming back to this team. I mean, Paulus, that was kind of heartbreaking news. And I believe
Sure.
it was on draft night, wasn't it?
Draft night,
For the
literally like 30 minutes before we had our show. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it's not just for a baseball sense and what
Yeah.
Terry Francona brings to that clubhouse and the confidence he can breed. And we talked to, of course, Bob DiBiasio at the
course.
start of the season about that. But just for the person and what he means to this town and his connection with the city.
Sure.
I mean, it had to. I know you guys talking about ESPN Cleveland. I know that probably talking with a lot of people, it's probably hit a lot of people hard. Kind of a shocking bit of news, him having to step away this year again.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I know we all knew that Terry had some health issues, and this has been going on for a couple of years now. He had to do this. This team's going nowhere. We're going to talk about it here in a real quick second, but they waved the white flag. The moment they traded Cesar, it was done. To your rival that you're trying to catch up with, it was done. It's over. We'll get into that though. The moment that happened though, Terry, I think, understood it as well. Like maybe that was the moment that hit him, was like, whoa, like this ain't going to work. We might as well, if we're waving the white flag, I need to get healthy, because you could just tell like he just wasn't right. And it is a sad moment to sort of realize that, but it is for the best for everyone involved. It is the best for the Indians to, sort of figure out their ways to, get their feet wet, because Tito's not going to be here much longer, than I'm going to say probably 2 years. Like if we're lucky, he might not come back. Like that's the whole point of this. If he doesn't come back from this health scare, and I'm not saying anything like the worst of the worst, nothing like that.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, if he finds, this whole health situation is just too much for him and he needs more extended time and he might end up eventually leaving the team, then you need to figure out who the next manager is going to be and step up that way. And you need to know if any of these young players are honestly any good or are even worth keeping here, because I know that there's a lot of players on this team. We don't have a whole lot of contracts, that are, going to be rolling over to next
Right.
year. We really don't. So you got to find out who's worth keeping and who's worth getting rid of.
Well, even Hammy said on the broadcast today, listening on the radio as we were kind of out and about running errands today, that Francona has said that often. Like, you don't want to be caught in the middle.
Right.
Even if the answer is no, you got to know, are your young players good enough for the league or are they not? Even if the tough answer comes back no, you can't be in the middle. Like, maybe not.
Yeah.
You got to get that answer, and they're going to get those answers as the season winds down over the last 2 months. Again, a 500 team. We kind of, we're making the joke early in the season with the Who song. Who are they? Who? You're really at that. I mean, a 500 record really is that. I know in reality it's average. You're
Sure.
not above average. You're not bad, but we've seen bad stuff from this team and yet good record at some point during the season as well. So
Right.
they're kind of just along that railroad track of, who are we? Like, who are we? We are 500.
Sure. And you know what? Honestly, statistically speaking, and I went back and checked this out, since 1994, so 27 years counting this year right now, we are 20 out of 27 years of being 500 or better, which honestly in baseball means you're in contention. That's what it does.
And especially in a mid-market or small
It-
market.
and that is phenomenal.
Yeah, it
like
is.
not a whole lot of teams can say that, like that is a very rare thing to see. So the fact that you are 20 out of 27 years, counting this
Mhm.
year right now, it looks like that could fall off. So let's even say that. Let's say we're 19 and 27 years. You're telling me only 8 years of under 500 baseball in a town like Cleveland that, for what, since 58 or 54, whenever it was, to 94, you saw how many winning seasons? I don't even think like many,
Not a lot.
like maybe one or two
Not
in
a
a
lot.
40-year stretch. Like
Yeah.
that's the point of all of this, is that we haven't seen a stretch like this in Cleveland baseball in decades. Of this sort of, and everyone's gonna, go to the Dolans. I bet, bet it would be 20 years if the Dolans paid the money and everything
Don't
like
worry.
that.
I will.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. But my whole point is that they have the right people in the front
Right.
office doing their job. We have the right manager when he's healthy. And and we typically have really solid players out on the field. This year is one of those wash years, one of those 8 years, that
Yeah.
it is probably going to be an under 500 team. But once again, I don't want to over exaggerate. Like going into this year, I said that they were going to be probably 5 or 6 games below 500. And that was okay with me because I saw the writing on the wall. It wasn't like
Mhm.
their 10-game win streak or whatever
Yeah.
it was, early in the year that got them to over 10 games, over 500. That's one of those moments where like, wow, maybe I was wrong about this team. No, I was right.
Yeah.
I should have stuck to my guns a little bit, and that's okay. You
Yeah.
can be under 500 every once in a while. Just don't make it a 40-year stretch like before.
And that's what makes baseball so difficult to talk about early on in the season or even predict before the season, because 162 games, there's so much that can happen. And the way that you thought this team would be below 500 by 5 or 6 games is not necessarily how this season has even gone to get to that point anyways. So it's such a difficult thing to see. And you just hope for a little bit more of that window, but the reality and the writing's been on the wall for a little while. And the team has kind of succumbed to that writing on the wall and waved that proverbial white flag, I guess. We'll use that word again here this evening. But by trading Cesar Hernandez and, of course, trading Phil Maton, I mean, you're getting, you got Miles Straw out of that deal.
Sure.
But Eddie Rosario hasn't been hurt, hasn't been the Eddie Rosario that played against the Indians for all those years. But again, still a viable MLB player that can help a team win. You got Pablo Sandoval back in the deal and then, not even on the team. And
Right.
I mean, we're doing salary dump moves. And you just said, some people will say the Dolans are the reason. They are. You're one of the lowest payrolls in baseball, and you're doing a salary dump. And all respect to all the beat writers like Zach Mizell and all of them. But to come out and tweet after this team traded Cesar Hernandez to a rival who's trying to win and trying to say that that's overblown and saying, oh, well, he's got an option in his contract, but they got Madrigal at second base. He's hurt this year, but he'll be back next year. Guess what they did? He was expendable too. They got rid of him, and now they're going to rely on Cesar Hernandez. I knew Cesar Hernandez was going. I'm not upset that Cesar Hernandez was traded.
Okay.
I like the guy. I liked
Sure.
what he was able to do. I think the leadoff spot is not where he should be in a lineup, but I knew that Cesar Hernandez and Eddie Rosario were going to be at least 2 names I was going to see traded off this team.
Yeah.
But to trade within your own division and help them in their quest to win is never overblown to be upset by that. Again, people were trying to take fans being upset they were upset that Cesar was gone. If people were upset that Cesar was gone, understand, you like the player.
Sure.
But again, reality glasses on. He was one of your only assets if they were going to trade and get anything back or build up their farm system again, even more than it already was. And on top of all that, you're still bringing in pitchers. I don't care what their stats are in the minor leagues. You have a development staff that can develop pitching in your organization, and you already have some other good young talent lower in the minor leagues that you're developing. hoping that they can maybe lengthen this rotation that isn't very good right now
Sure.
in a couple years. You got one outfielder out of it. You still can't pick outfielders and you can't develop them. Too many errors, too many issues in the field. At some point, if you're ever going to have a chance to win a championship again, 2016, the players didn't get it done. But if you're ever going to have a chance to get to that point again, you can't just have pitching, because you had pitching then, you overused them, and you didn't have enough bats to consistently win games and finish the deal. Finish the deal by developing outfielders and hitters in your lineup.
But you weren't going to do that on this team, and you weren't going to do that via the Cesar Hernandez trade. Like, the Cesar Hernandez isn't a big enough name to get a quality prospect, honestly.
I wouldn't even say these pitchers are quality prospects. If you're going to say that you have a good development staff, you can get a lower end infielder, outfielder, and go ahead and develop them. But they can't do that anyways.
Yeah. No, I understand it, and I understand and agree. Trading
so
within the division is a bad look. It is a very bad look.
Just a cardinal sin in baseball. Come on.
It is, and I understand.
I hated seeing Zach Meisel tweet. It's
Sure.
overblown. That is terrible, because you do not trade in your own division to help them win.
I agree. I think that it's a bad look, but at the same time, you weren't catching them. Like, that's a given. You weren't going to
catching them, though.
It
don't help them. If you can't catch them, don't try to help them.
Honestly, it doesn't do a damn thing for them. Like, that's my point.
Well, they
is
got
that
a
I
quality
don't
second baseman with Madrigal out.
Is he though? Like break down Cesar Hernandez this year. Yeah, does he have a little bit more pop this year? Yeah. But does he do anything else very well? Not really. Like I'm just going to be honest with you. He played excellent last year. That's the reason why they brought him back, was because we were expecting that same sort of magic last year, and that last year to this year, and it hasn't happened. And for me, trading within the division, once again, you said it, it's a cardinal sin, and I'll agree with you. Once again, it's a bad look, but this doesn't mean that they even have remotely a chance to get to or sniff the World Series. Like, we did nothing to benefit them to win a World Series. That's my point. And I think that's the point that Zach Meisel was trying to promote as well. It once again, bad look, agreed. But it doesn't mean that this is the trading point. Like, they're not going to beat the Dodgers. If they even got to the World Series, the Dodgers have 4 Cy Young pitchers on their staff. They won't sniff a game. They won't be able to beat the Yankees, who just picked up Anthony Rizzo. Like
I understand, but it doesn't matter the quality or the type of player. You don't, when a team in your own division is trying to win a World Series, you don't do anything to help them when they think that piece that they're asking you about is going to help them. Let alone any other time. You never trade in your division.
They didn't help them. I'm telling you, Cesar Hernandez will
trade in your division. That's the point.
They didn't help him. I understand.
It's
a cardinal sin, Kevin, that you don't trade within the division. It doesn't give a damn. Cesar Hernandez isn't going to do a damn thing.
The White Sox clearly think that he can help them.
That they just outsmarted them by getting a prospect. I don't think that they did.
Yeah, a pitcher that I probably won't ever see.
This is the point.
Another pitcher.
This is the point, Kevin. This trade is moot. It is nothing. It is end all be all. It is garbage. It is a garbage under the radar trade, because Cesar Hernandez
it's not about the name.
Will not help the White Sox win a World Series.
It is about who they traded him to. I don't care about Cesar Hernandez. I don't give a damn about Cesar
Hernandez. So if they traded him to the Twins, if they traded him to the Twins or the Tigers, which the Tigers have been, would you be this upset?
I would, because guess what? When the Twins need to win something, they've already set the precedence that they are willing to trade in the division, and they can come back and fleece you again. The White Sox now think, hey, the Indians are a trade partner. They are willing to trade to us. We can probably try to get something else off of them at some other point in history when we need it. That's the problem. You have now set a precedence and a culture with a relationship between you and a division rival that they can try to come in and get things that they want from you. You don't do that.
So answer this one question.
Yeah.
Did the White Sox fleece the Indians?
Yes. By trading,
Okay, we're done. We're done with this conversation.
by
We
trading
gotta
within the
move on.
division, they
fleeced them.
They fleeced
They
them.
fleeced them.
They fleeced
Cesar Hernandez
not
is fleecing
for
the
the
Indians.
player. You're not understanding at all. Not for the player. They fleeced them by now already having the upper hand by knowing that they can come to the Indians whenever they need something and they are willing to talk instead of just hanging up the phone. We're not helping you as a division rival. They fleeced them as soon as Chris Antonetti
That's not a fleece.
stayed on the phone longer than 1 minute.
That is not a fleece, Kevin. Kevin, a fleece is getting the best player and giving away essentially the worst of the worst for you.
That's
Fleecing-
your definition. I'm saying that they fleeced them in another way. They were able to fleece them in another way.
Okay.
That's what happened in that trade. You don't train your division ever, and it ticked me off.
It can tick you off. It doesn't look good. It's a bad look.
It's not that it just doesn't look good. It shouldn't happen.
It's a bad look.
I think the problem here is that where Kevin's getting upset, and I agree, they shouldn't do it. It's a bad look. But once you open that door, it's a lot harder to keep it closed in the future. And I think that's where Kevin's coming from, is that because the Indians have said, yeah, we'll do this. Now it's easier to have that happen in the future.
It only happens if there are other trade offers in the future. Like they had to dump Cesar because
now
they
they feel
knew
like they
that they
can.
weren't bringing him back next year. The
They
Indians
feel more welcome to walk in the Indians' door and get whatever they want.
deals get done all the time in
I
between
understand.
teams.
I
And
understand.
in divisions, deals get done all the time. Okay.
It shouldn't happen.
It
I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it.
murder shouldn't happen, but it does. It does. Like it just does. I can't stop it. You can't stop it. If the White Sox offer a trade to the Indians and they have no other trade partners, and you know you're not going to be able to get rid of Cesar anywhere else, you take the offer because it's just there. Because you're not going to re-sign him. Because no one else on God's green earth thinks that Cesar Hernandez is worth a damn but the White Sox. And we all know he's not worth a damn. So you get whatever you can for him wherever you can get it. That's it. That's the whole point. And that's the only reason why the Indians made the trade within the division, because they had no other options. There was no one banging on their door other than the White Sox to get Cesar Hernandez, which once again is not having a great year. He's having a power year. Cool. Good for you, bro. Start hitting some dingers in Chi-Town. Let's see how that goes.
Cool. The White Sox kicked in the door, and when they knew that they couldn't get anything for Cesar Hernandez, and now that precedence has been set, and they feel like they can walk in any other time. Maybe it happens every now and again, but now Indians open for business to anybody and everybody. Cool. Awesome. A way to end the era of Indians baseball. And anybody already calling them the Guardians, shut up. They're the Indians the rest of this season. Start calling them the Guardians at the end. I'm angry. All right. I'm angry about baseball in my town. Sorry, not sorry. But with that being said, it is time to hit another break and hopefully a more pleasant conversation on the other side, as Evan Mobley is the newest Cavalier. We will touch on what he can do this season to impact this team, and what are the prospects of the Cavs maybe making a run of the playoffs or a play-in game now with the young talent amassed on this team. This is the Voice of Land on the Big Play Network.
Are you struggling to hire the right talent or maybe even find the right career? Vector Technical makes it easy. Since 1992, Vector has provided Ohio employers with a reliable process for hiring and have helped thousands of job seekers advance in their careers. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. We invest time to get to know each client and candidate personally. Vector places people in job opportunities that they are truly excited about. Interested in learning more? Visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com to see a full list of our current job opportunities and to find out what Vector Technical can offer you.
voiceoftheland.com/shop.
Welcome on back into a heated edition of the Voice of the Land. Deep breaths were taken in the break. Kevin Arnold alongside my brother, always my brother, Nick Paulus, and of course, our producer extraordinaire, Peter Tellep. Like we always say, things will get heated on this show, but you know they're real because it doesn't happen very often. And I don't anticipate much heated in this segment, but I didn't anticipate it in the last segment either. So
It's true.
you never know. But from a team that looks like writing is on the wall, white flag has been raised, to a team that is trying to build a similar winning culture and try to get back on that track, as the Browns have already established themselves on that track, as we talked about them earlier. Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA draft on Thursday night drafted Evan Mobley, center out of USC, number 3 overall, of course, after the inevitable Cade Cunningham going number 1 to Detroit and Jalen Green going number 2 to Houston, as we had been talking about for a while. A little surprising to see Jalen Suggs drop one extra spot to Orlando to number 5, but the core 4 did go in the top 5, the 4 that we have been talking about this entire time. Paulus, Evan Mobley, the Cavs were able to, in the lottery, they were able to pick 2 spots higher than if they would have just left them based on record at the end of the season, as the NFL does. And the top 2 guys that we were talking about were already gone.
Right.
Kobe Altman didn't overthink it, just went with the best guy on the board and a guy that can help them. Do you see Evan Mobley helping this team, especially with the love that this Cavaliers organization has for Jared Allen? Do you see that coexistence being better than what we've already seen from Garland and Sexton?
Oh, no doubt. And just to come back from the Indians saying, I wanted Jalen Suggs. No, I'm joking.
Okay.
I'm joking. Clearly. No, Evan Mobley though is real deal.
It would have gotten heated if Jalen Green and
if
Evan
I
Mobley
would have
was on the board.
Right. Oh my God. That Indians conversation would look like a walk in the park.
Yeah.
No, thank God, Kobe Altman made the right decision. He didn't overthink it. I'm sure he got amazing trade offers. Probably could have fleeced a couple other people, but the thing is that he stuck to his guns. He made the right choice. The dude looks legit. He looks like a hell of a good basketball player. I was cutting up some highlights for him and, cutting up some sound, for our pre-draft show. And I mean, the guy's a stud. Now, once again, you look through all these highlight packages and everything like that. It's all good stuff. You never see the bad stuff. Like you don't see him, getting, the ball stolen away or anything like that. It's all good players.
Though.
It doesn't. It never happens.
Evan Mobley he's like perfect from the field,
He's
right?
perfect. Yeah. 100 out of 100. Yeah. He's great. I love everything about this kid though. The tall, lanky guy, he has the blocking capability. It's not like he's all offense and no defense or all defense and no offense. It looks like he can play, on both sides of the court. And it looks also like he's not only just like a great passer, but, he's able to rebound, block, do everything that you want him to. And he seems like a legit nice dude, which as a fan, you want to root for as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how, everything just keeps on going with this Cavaliers team. I saw a mock lineup of, what our starting 5 could possibly look like, with Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, Isaac Okoro, then Mobley at the 4, and then Jared Allen at the 5.
Does someone know something that we don't? And we're going to get our wish?
You know what? A lot of people are assuming that Love isn't going to be on this team.
Yeah.
I still think he's going to be collecting a paycheck here from us anyways, which I could see him still nursing that calf injury here for another 2 years.
If Luol Deng can collect a paycheck,
that's right. Yeah, no doubt.
Kevin Love can definitely still collect a paycheck, even if he's not playing on this team.
Yeah, Kevin Love is going to be just like collecting paychecks until 2040, at this point in time. And I'm okay with that. At this point in time, I got to be okay with it because I know no one's going to want Kevin Love. It just after the USA Basketball comments from Jerry Colangelo basically stating this guy used to be able to rebound. He used to be able to shoot the 3. Those are some damning statements from a very reputable source.
Yes.
and it's not a good look. So once again, I'm not even counting Kevin Love as a part of this team. I know he'll still be collecting the checks, but that is what it is. If you can get that core 5 right there, and then you have who'd be coming off the bench. We picked up Ricky Rubio on a on a trade. Not a bad trade. You needed a backup point guard, so I like that.
As much as I love Delly, Rubio's better option.
He is.
Yeah.
And Nance, coming off the bench, being like a 6th, sort of coming off. I love that.
Yeah.
You need a couple more people. Obviously, you can't just play 7. So you need a couple more guys. But I like our options there. I really do.
I mean, you're going to need shooting because
yes, you do.
Because you got
Darius
Garland, Colin Sexton have improved their outside shot, and if Sexton is going to still be here, and right now the prevailing thought process is that he is, now that you drafted a center, so not someone in that position like Jalen Green, and kind of moving him and Okoro around, and where's the spot for Sexton on this team? That's what generated a lot of that trade talk, and I'm sure there's other teams still inquiring with the Cavs about trading for Colin Sexton, but that starting 5, that's kind of what we talked about with the Indians. You got the young talent. Now let's figure out what they can do. Can they really be the core of the start of something? Because you're not getting another LeBron, maybe at least in our lifetime, of that once in a generation. But you have what you feel is your centerpiece in Evan Mobley, who can do a lot. Now, while Kendrick Perkins needs to take a chill pill on modern day Bill Russell.
Did you hear him call Cade Cunningham the next LeBron? Like he's a less athletic LeBron. Like, whoa,
if you're a
calm down.
If you're a less athletic LeBron, you're not going to get as far as LeBron, because LeBron couldn't really shoot coming in.
And that's fair. Even calling him a poor man's LeBron, and he didn't say that, but had he said that, like you never compare someone like that, especially a kid that's never played in the NBA yet. I don't know. That's tough.
The whole comparison conversation, I used to get into it. There's a lot of stuff I stay away from now because it just it goes down a bad path. But like I said, as much as Kendrick Perkins was, I don't know, smoking something, or
he was doing something,
to say that. I did like his assessment saying that, as long as Mobley buys in to being a big man who can do guard things. That was his quote.
Yes.
If he buys into that, he can have a really good to great career in this league and truly be the centerpiece of this Cavs rebuild back to relevancy in the Eastern Conference. If he tries to do all those guard things that everybody's touting, how he's 7 foot and can handle the ball and step out and shoot it, and he can still even get better there. If he tries to do that more than focusing on inside out, goes outside in, that's when you're going to have some troubles.
Agreed.
Not that you can't, maybe struggle with that with 1 year and come back and be better the next year. It's just, it sets the young player down a bad path, allowing that to go on, especially in this league.
The way that I look at it, and once again, I don't know if this guy will ever come anywhere near this guy, and it's a little bit of a comparison thing, but if you look at what Giannis just did, Giannis realized nobody could stop him in the post. And he, and over the last, 7 or 8 years that he's been in the league, the dude's bulked up big time. And we've all seen that. So that is something that is obviously needed for what Evan Mobley is going to need to do. And I think he will, pack on, 20 pounds of muscle over the next 7 or 8 years. That's easily doable, especially for his 7-foot body frame. That is something that could definitely happen, but he needs to realize that his money will be made in the paint. And that's exactly where, what Giannis learned, this past postseason. The guy hit, he had 50 points, to end game 6 in the finals, won the MVP because literally no one could stop him, down in the post. And that's what he needs. That's what we need as a Cavaliers team. We need to have that guy back down in the post, making sure that he's able to dominate the rim on both ends of the court. And I think that if he does that, just like what Perk said, if he's, a big man, has that mentality, that would be awesome. That would be epic there for us.
Now, I know we were getting comments on Twitter. I don't know if you have it up on yours. 'Cause it actually
I
went
do.
away from mine.
I
but-
do. Yeah, no, it popped up here. It's, from our buddy, Always Positive Jay, here for us. He says Mobley is going to be a beast in like 3 years. Good now, but he will become great, I think. He just needs to polish up with his shot and put on some more weight.
And Jay brings up a great point there, and he brings up a couple, to my mind, he brings up a couple words that, again, are a little sacrilegious in this town and people don't want to hear. But with this team, it's going to have to preach patience and process
Yes.
to get back to actually being relevant in Eastern Conference. They
It's that P word.
Oh, those P words, man! Those P words. They really strike a nerve here in Cleveland. But it's true though, and I know it's the reason why they strike a nerve is because everybody knows it's true, and they just don't want to have to go through that. But in order for a team to be built and not just rely on the one guy to lead you, now, yeah, you have a centerpiece, but if you can develop a team, the Bucks and the Suns were teams.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, maybe the ratings were down for the NBA, and maybe not as many people wanted to watch.
Make people watch the game. Like
Right.
as long as it's a good, solid game, like I'll take that all day.
But I love this finals because it was basketball.
Yes.
It was team basketball. And yeah, I still get into the super teams and stuff, and I'll dive into some Lakers basketball this season to see what Russ and LeBron and AD can do together.
That's going to be a blank show. That's what that's going to end up being.
If they don't have any shooters on that team this year, it's going to look worse than it did last year.
I told you right before the show here for us, the Lakers contract
These
situation
contracts.
that's going on.
Talk
So
about Kevin Love contract.
the top 4 contracts for the Lakers going into next year is going to be Russell at $44 million, LeBron at $41 million, Anthony Davis at $35 million. Their next highest paid player hasn't played in the league in 3 years. That's Luol Deng. Like that blows my mind. And he's making $5 million. So like, you're going to have to get bottom of the barrel people on this team in order for you to do something. Like shooters don't come cheap. Like let's just be honest. Since Steph revolutionized the 3-point line essentially and made the 3-point line essentially half court now, a lot of people are getting paid. Seth Curry is getting paid,
he is.
And like Seth Curry on the Lakers would be awesome. But you can't afford him. Like you're going to have to go to the G League in order to find a couple of players, and it's just not going to happen.
Like I said, if they don't find shooters on that team, and all the names that are being rumored,
They had Buddy Hield wrapped up on a bow, cheap, and they let it go, and they let it go in order to get Russ. Made no sense.
Who's a better player? I would still say Russ, but
You don't need the better
you.
player. You
Right.
need the shooter.
You need the shooting. What does
Right.
LeBron need around him at this point in his career?
Shooters.
Because
Right.
he is playing the basketball IQ game, not the above the rim game anymore.
Agreed.
And the game has transitioned to 3-point shooting. If you don't got any 3-point shooters around, a guy that can find you at any different angle and with any different kind of pass you ever can throw,
Buddy Hield would have averaged 21 points, freaking 7 3-pointers a game. like easy, just wrap it up. He would have averaged 7 threes a game because he'd be in the corner by himself. Just
and you talked about guys who were getting paid that
Right.
lower names you wouldn't expect to a few years ago to get paid. Lakers would have helped Buddy Hield get paid
No
too
doubt.
because of what he would be able to do and help this team
Yeah.
with the Lakers. All these players that are rumored for the Lakers too. I mean, they're going to have to, like DeMar DeRozan, saying he would take a team-friendly deal. You're going to have to take Nick Chubb times 100 team-friendly level to play on this team, especially since you're still paying Luol Deng. We've gotten on Cleveland teams for paying coaches for a long time. Boy, I mean, I guess it's not to the Bobby Bonilla level because it's more money, but it's not like the length of time that Bobby Bonilla has been being paid. But
right.
It's
So just for blanks and giggles here for us, I said Russ was making $44 million.
Mhm.
Buddy signed his contract last year
Yeah.
for was the bird right. It was 4 years, $94 million. He's only making 22. I say only making, but $22 million this year. You would have had him for half of his contract. That meant that you could have probably gotten out there and maybe picked up Chris Paul. Like, and then maybe got Carmelo, and then you have the whole banana boat crew. Like, that could have happened, but instead you wanted to go that way. I don't know. It blows my mind that they made that move.
And yet we still can't get a percent.
That's all I want. That's all we're asking.
I
half
just
of
looked
a
up the
percent.
I just looked up the Bobby Bonilla thing because I couldn't
Right.
I couldn't remember
Yeah.
when that ends.
Yeah, it doesn't end for like another 10 years.
2035.
Oh my God.
14 years.
Good for him. Good
Yeah.
for Bobby. You know, like, God bless him. $1 million every July 1st. Good for you, man.
1.19 million a year.
That is just
I would take the 0.19.
I'll take 0.000
no doubt.
of that kind of
You
money.
got $20, Bobby. I'll take that. So,
I need to get home. My
Right.
car's out of gas. Can I just get like $10 real quick?
right. No doubt.
But that will end our basketball conversation. A much more pleasant conversation. Again, we're all family on this show. Things get heated, but it's all because we love sports in this town, and we just want to see our teams be good. We just want to see our teams be good. We're glad the Browns are good, and
The Cavs are on their way.
football's always number one, but baseball and basketball being good all at the same time instead of this baseball and basketball died just so that the Browns could rise. I'm just asking for good sports all year round. That's all I'm asking for. Or maybe $10 from Bobby Bonilla. I don't know. But on the other side of this break, one final segment, a fun segment to end the show, Olympics talk. How much have the guys been watching out here? Because you know your boy's been watching a lot of Olympics over here. How about the other two? And which individualistic award would you rather win? We'll talk about all that on the other side of this final break. This is The Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network.
Are you looking for a career in manufacturing? Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that is partnered with some of the biggest and the best companies throughout Northeastern Ohio. The recruiters at Vector Technical will coach you through the entire job process and will help you land an opportunity that you are truly excited about. Vector does not add any additional fees and offers benefits as well as free online skills training through Penn Foster. To learn more, visit www.vectortechnicalinc.com and make sure to check out our job board to see a full list of our current opportunities and apply.
Welcome back to The Voice of the Land here on the Big Play Network. And boy, if you're just tuning into the show, you're going to want to go back and either listen or watch on your favorite social media platform or listen on your favorite podcast platform, Google, Spotify, Apple. Didn't get that in earlier, so wanted to make sure I got that in somehow, some way. But if you haven't been tuned into the show, it has been a fun and intriguing show, to say the least, here this evening. And we've talked all the local sports, but there is one big global sporting event going on, of course. The Olympics, not able to happen last year due to COVID, and still not able to have fans this year, but still good for the Olympians that train so many years, every 4 years, and now had to train for an extra few months, and year and few months to make it to this Olympic cycle out there in Tokyo, Japan. The Olympic Games are one of the more prestigious sporting events that people get into when they come around, because you only get them every 4 years. Well, I guess every two if you are summer and winter, but maybe if you're into one, you only get every 4 years.
Right.
Now, you guys know I've been watching a lot of Olympics, and I've been tuning into that swim meet all week long. That just ended last night. Shout out Kitty Ledecky, Caleb Dressel,
Unreal.
Bobby Fink. The Americans on the men's side do not win distance events. Let me just start there real quick. 1,500 meters, 30 laps. It is a 50-meter pool. So most of the time, most of the year, they're swimming in like 25-yard or like 25-meter pools.
Sure.
So, you get to stretch it out. So 2 laps become 1, but still 30 laps, and being able to come back and swim 50 meters in 25 seconds to come from third place up to first in the 1,500 meter, plus winning the 800 meter freestyle event.
Yeah. It's impressive.
And then on the women's side, I mean, you got some young stars. I don't know if you guys heard about. Oh my gosh, her name is escaping me right now. The breaststroker, the 17-year-old from Alaska.
Oh, I don't remember her name, but I do know who you're talking about. Yeah,
I am ashamed of myself that I'm forgetting
No,
her name. I'm sure the comments will help us out here very, very soon.
Yes.
But you know, her winning the 100-meter breaststroke, and then she was being blamed for the first ever event. There was like, I don't know if you guys also heard about the mixed medley relay. Like they actually had men and women swimming with each other and against each other all at the same time. You didn't have
Lydia Jacoby.
Yeah, Lydia
Okay.
Jacoby. Yes, Lydia Jacoby. So of course, in that relay event, you didn't actually have to you had 2 guys, 2 girls. That was the only mandate. You didn't matter which leg they swam.
Yeah.
You go backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly,
Okay.
freestyle. So it didn't matter where you put them. So there was literally guys swimming against girls at the same time.
Oh wow.
And it was that was a cool moment to see, to
Sure.
put sports on the same level. Because
Mhm.
there's always these conversations. Men's sports get more accolades, more money.
Sure.
And yes, they do than women. And women are advancing sport and advancing society just as much, if not more so,
Mhm.
out there.
Yeah.
So that was cool to put it they're all swimmers
Yeah.
in the pool. Like they are all star swimmers in the pool. So that was a cool moment. But Lydia Jacoby goes in for her leg of the relay and her goggles come off.
Oh
One of the worst feelings as a swimmer is for your goggles to come down, and not like
yeah.
if they come all the way down, you at least have them like around your neck and you can
Sure.
kind of, focus on that. But they were like in
In
between
the
her nose
nose.
and like mouth.
Yeah.
And she swam, like everybody was blaming her for the U.S. losing. There was no way that Caleb Dressel at the end of that race was coming back just
Sure.
because the way that the other teams, it's going to become strategy if they keep doing this at the Olympics. She swam a tenth of a second slower than her gold medal 100-meter breaststroke
Sure.
in the individual event. It was a 10th second slower in the relay.
Sure.
It's basically the same,
Yeah.
honestly. So
A world record.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
stop blaming her for that. So
Mhm.
I can break all that down so you guys really know. I've been
Sure,
watching a
sure.
lot, and that's just swimming. I already talked before the show about how many sports I've watched. Paulus, I'm going to ask, even though I know the answer to this
Yeah.
question, and I knew the answer before I even walked in here, and you forced me to ask you pre-show.
Sure. Yeah.
How much of the Olympics have you watched?
Oh, everything. No, clearly I'm joking. No, honestly, I'm not huge Olympic guy. I've never been huge Olympic guy. The only time that I'm really like tuning in for the events is gold medal basketball game
Mhm.
or track and field. Like the running. Like I would always tune in for Usain Bolt. Like that was must see TV. I was never really like dead set on like I gotta watch Michael Phelps. Honestly, I heard Michael Phelps' name. I'm like, okay, gold medal. Like cool. But Usain Bolt, and like you could say the same about Usain. Like, but there's always this talk of like, well, this guy's super fast. I am a sucker for speed. I am a sucker for if you can run a 40 and a 4.2. You're like you're my dude. Like there we go. And
You
Usain,
can't teach speed, but if you got speed,
Right.
your pulse is got.
no doubt. I loved watching Usain Bolt all the time. So like I'm gonna be tuning in this week because I know that track is coming up this week. But other than that, like to start off the Olympics, plus they're at like midnight. Like I gotta sleep. I gotta pass out somewhere. And I was, working RBS the last couple, weeks, like mixing it in and stuff like that. But so like I'd be up by 3 a.m. and like we get to the office and like it'll be on in the background. I'll like
Yeah.
turn around, I'll see, someone doing something like, okay, that's cool. But I'm not the dude out here watching badminton. I'm not watching beach volleyball. I'm not that's you. That's not who I am.
There's something to say about beach volleyball.
Well, sure, we could go down that route, Peter, but this is a family show.
Yes.
We're not going there.
You just had to
I-
do it.
No,
had to do
but no, you had to. But yeah, like I said, I'm not a huge Olympic guy just in general. So like I'm not the one to go to for Olympic coverage. You clearly are, so that's a bonus. But Peter, clearly you're watching beach volleyball. So that
actually,
is-
actually, I haven't seen any of it.
Well, you missed a doozy of a game between USA and Canada yesterday.
You know, and the thing is, and
there was a double challenge on one play.
what was it? And there was the one women's team that argued about the bikini bottoms because they do have to wear the bikini bottoms, which is kind of
so.
which is
that
kind of
that team.
silly.
I don't think. I think it was the Netherlands or something like
Right.
that. Like they didn't even make the Olympics, but like they were talking about like had they made the Olympics, like they were
Okay.
protesting because their guidelines in their book. In their like Olympic books state that the women have to wear bikini bottoms and the men have to wear shorts.
Board shorts.
Board shorts. Yeah. So, like whatever. And like the women were like, well, why can't we just wear like the tight fitted shorts? Like why can't we wear that? It's for comfort. And we honestly don't want to be prancing around like
Right.
that. And they were like, no, it says in the guidelines. Shut up. Like,
Yeah, that's-
And
stop
and
that.
I'm sure women wrote those guidelines too.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
sure. Yeah. I'm
Right,
sure
right,
they
right.
were. Diversity matters for the Netherlands. No, it doesn't. Like, shut up. Just fix the rules because that is the most sexist, random BS that I've
Yeah.
ever heard of. So, it's so stupid. But people, I'm sure that book was written back in like the 40s.
Yeah,
like,
probably.
no doubt. So, and it just never got changed. And people, I guarantee you, will look at it now and go like, okay, this is pretty,
Mhm.
pretty old rule. Like, let's get rid
Well,
of that.
I mean, like I get swimming.
Yeah.
They had the air, not aerodynamic because it's not air, but
Sure.
the more
but
the
even like
streamlined. You don't get streamlined.
but even they were talking about the women wearing the caps and stuff like that, and like U.S. or I don't know if it was the U.S. or it was the Olympic teams. They were like
Yeah.
I think it was like the black swimmers. They're not allowed to wear their. It's something about like afros or like
Yeah.
it's too large or something like that. And they were it was completely off brand of like just like being a human, like having a human mindset. Like, so what, you're gonna go and shave their head or something like that to make them fit in the caps that are needed? Like, it was a stupid, it's a really dumb stuff that's going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, some of those regulations are like outlandish,
Right.
outdated.
Yeah,
you need
definitely.
to go.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about the suits. They've revamped the suits to make them, kind of go through the water a little bit more, because as a traditional swimmer, like even if you wear like the jammers as the guys,
Sure.
just those shorts, I mean, in order to get ready for a big meet, you're gonna make sure like you shave any part,
all the drag, right?
Yeah,
right.
Reduce
You
all
don't
the
want-
drag in the water.
you're
so.
trying to get any speed advantage that you can, and it's not necessarily an advantage where you're cheating the system, because everybody is doing it.
Mhm.
But you feel like your technique, your skill is better if I can just have this extra little piece that's
Mm-hmm.
going to add more to me, and then I'm really going to show you how dominant I can be.
Right.
That kind of mindset in the pool. Peter,
Back to-
percentage wise, back to how much we're watching. What percent would you say you've watched? the
Very
Olympics?
little. I mean, I've only watched a couple events. As track and field comes up, I might watch more. That I do enjoy some of the races. I don't run fast, so but I can appreciate people that can.
Right.
Things like the hurdles, just kind of blow my mind, because running fast and jumping over things. I mean, that
Yeah, makes it a little impressive. Yeah,
right, way more impressive. But I enjoy those, and I don't know, it's weird, because I think maybe because of the time difference, I'm not in tune. And now with the streaming services, like we have YouTube TV, we don't have like regular TV.
Right.
So
yeah,
even though I can watch like the live stuff, I just don't find myself sitting in front of the TV and just
Right.
watching live shows
Mhm.
anymore.
And that's understandable for where TV watching is going.
Sure.
So you guys haven't been watching as many of the Olympics, and maybe not as big of Olympic people as I
Right.
am. And if I'm weird for that,
No,
No,
I don't
no,
think so
that's-
at all.
I
No,
don't
there-
care.
I think
I live it.
I was going to say, like, I think Peter and I were in the minority, whenever it comes to something like this, because if given the opportunity, a lot of people
Yeah.
are going to watch the Olympics.
Right,
It's
right.
just, for me, it doesn't catch me.
It actually feels more like in this cycle, not as many people are watching it as much, but who knows? I mean, have to take a poll on that, but
Mhm.
who knows? Maybe we'll have a poll question throughout the
Maybe,
week,
there
but,
we go.
No, but question that we kind of thought about as we were doing our pre-show meeting.
Yeah.
Real quick. would you rather win an MVP or individual award like that in said sport?
Sure.
It doesn't matter. We're not going to specify sport, but because there's
Sure.
those kind of awards and all
Yeah,
of them.
name the MVP that you'd
Right.
want to win, right?
But that's kind of the prestigious individual award that you can win in awards like that. Would you rather win that or an Olympic gold medal representing your country and stand on that podium to hear your national anthem played?
I think I would love to say I'd love to win the NFL, way, the Super Bowl MVP or
Right.
something along the lines of. I think that would be a really cool thing, but I don't think that you can beat an Olympic gold. Like it says that you're the best in the world at
Yeah.
something. Given that time, that day, you were the best in the world at something. I think that does mean something. So not to, once again, dismiss the Olympic sports in general.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just not a huge watcher of it, but if you tell me you got an Olympic gold, that changes my outlook on everything about you,
Right.
that is great. And, and we were talking about this earlier, that comes with perks as well. You're going to be
Especially
on
now.
you're going to be on Wheaties boxes.
Mhm.
You're going to be on, commercials. And that's not to say if you win the Super Bowl MVP, it's not you get your parade in Disney World.
Yeah.
You get all of that stuff. You fanfare, everything
Mhm.
like that. People are going to remember you for life. But once again, if you win the 100-meter dash, in the 100-meter dash, for track, if you are Usain Bolt, people remember Usain Bolt.
Yes, they do.
He will go down forever as
Mhm.
the greatest, as one of the greatest sprinters of all time. We have a Super Bowl MVP on our team.
And some people forget that.
And people forget Malcolm Smith won the Super Bowl MVP for the Seattle Seahawks. People forget about stuff like that. So I think that I'd rather be Usain Bolt than Malcolm Smith. So
Yeah. And Peter, you even brought up the point too when we were talking about the perks that come with the gold medal. A lot of the swimmers, they're still in college. So if they won a medal and they're going back to school to swim, and then of course swimming on all these other circuits, name, image, and likeness, they can really make money from that now.
Yep.
Sponsorship deals, and a lot of companies are going to want a gold medal in front of that. Would you rather have the opportunity, especially in today's society, if you had it, to win a gold medal, or an individual style award like an MVP in the major sports?
See, it shows how much Nick and I are on the same wavelength, because it's really a great question, because my first thought is, man, it would be awesome to be like NFL MVP, Super
Yeah.
Bowl MVP, right? Because that would be great. But then I think of, being a gold medalist for the U.S. team. Just, you win the Cleveland Browns, hypothetically win a Super Bowl,
Right.
you're named MVP. Great feeling. Everyone in Cleveland loves
Yeah.
you. You win a gold medal for the USA. I mean, for your country.
yeah.
I can't imagine just the emotions that you would be feeling standing up there on the podium,
Mhm.
with the national anthem playing.
Yep.
As a gold medalist. And I would have to go with the Olympics. I mean, I just don't think, every 4 years, it's just a little bit.
It's
a
just
little
you.
bit-
Yeah.
it's
Like,
just
if
you, and it's it's like the pinnacle, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you said, you're at least at this moment, you are the best in the world at that event.
Exactly.
Honestly, I may even go as far as to say I'd rather win an Olympic medal in
Mhm.
general, one of the 3 Olympic medals, over one of those individual style awards. Now, other people may think differently, but
Sure.
at least gold medal, I'm definitely putting over, because you said it, you are a world champion. In basketball, in football, you win the big one, you're called a world champion. But and NBA is more diverse now, a lot more of a global game kind
Sure.
of being infused, global players, but you're not actually beating around the world. Like you're beating like the American League.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of an oxymoron in a sense of that phrasing, but we've just become accustomed to it. Gold medal, you are the ultimate world champion. And
Yes.
you worked your ass off for
Your entire life.
life. And if you want to try to repeat, you got to work another 4 years. So you're
Mhm.
just adding more and more, kind of wear and tear on your body for that moment. And you get to that point,
Yeah.
and you're on that podium. I mean, it was so special to see Caleb Dressel win his first gold in this Olympics. It was the guy that everybody was touting on the men's side. And of course, Ledecky, you know, Katie Ledecky's always going to come
Sure.
through on the women's side. But again, she was touted on the women's side. When Dressel won his first in that 100-meter freestyle, when he wasn't maybe expecting to win, and then they showed him his family on Zoom after the event, NBC was able to connect them because he doesn't even have them in the stands for it
Right.
this time. And standing on that podium, hearing the national anthem, looking at that flag rise to the ceiling, and hand over heart. I mean, like those are like
cool
those
moments.
goosebump level moments. So I pretty much, at least Olympic gold wise, we're all in agreement, gold over MVP. But I would actually be interested to poll our audience this week. So we'll post it. I think at some point
Yeah.
that question with the clip. We'll also add the poll in there, I think.
And I've won a gold at beer pong. You know, this past year, I won the gold at Tyler's house. So
Field day, elementary school.
field day, there you go. Yeah.
You know what kind of gold medal I got there.
There you go.
You know, you've seen the traditional
yeah.
like, Party City style
Oh, yeah.
gold medals.
Oh,
you
hell
know?
yeah.
It's somewhere in my trophy cases, you know.
I don't think I ever got a gold medal on anything like that. So
I'm trying to remember. Like field day, we had like all of the presidential,
Yeah.
like the sit-ups and
Yeah.
like the reach and all of that sort of stuff. I'm trying to remember some of the other games that we had for field day.
And we had like, it was like track and field based,
Right, yeah.
kind of stuff that we had going on at ours. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, you were the best in Wycliffe Elementary School.
There you
know?
go.
It's not as great as a national champion, but I digress and I'll take whatever I can get at this point. But I think, wow, what a show, guys.
Yeah. Range of emotions.
Yes. And definitely exhausts a lot of energy. So it may help me. You guys may have helped me sleep because I'm going to be
There you
flying
go.
out to Seattle for my sister's wedding and got an early flight on Tuesday morning. So we're trying to get the sleep schedules accustomed to that. So,
Absolutely.
but for my brother, Nick Paulus, and our producer extraordinaire, Pierre Telep, I'm Kevin All, reminding all of you, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. And as Iron Man once said, we truly love you all. 3000. We will see you all next week.